today about something that we've experienced, and that is burnout. In the seed system, if you know anything about the seed system, you may have heard that we get what we want by helping others. Like what you sow is what you reap. But what if you don't have any energy to help others? What if you've already given everything that you have to give? Janice, what would you say to someone who feels like, I don't have any energy left for helping others?
Well, what I would say is, if we understand where things are coming from, that when our mind thinks a thought and that causes us to take an action, we're actually planting a seed. We're planting a seed all day long. So even when we're burned out and we're still helping someone, if we understand at that moment that we're planting seeds, then we can try to, we want those seeds to come around so that we have the help we need. And there's a trick for that. We're planting seeds all day long because every thought we have causes us to take an action. We help someone every time we do the dishes. We help someone every time we hold open the door. So how can we use what we do all day long anyway to plant the seeds to get the help we need? And there's a trick, and it's called the 4 steps, which Alex is just so proficient at it. I would love if she would explain those 4 steps and how we can use those and not feel burned out.
Great. Well, Janice, that makes so much sense, that there's so many things we already do every day, like making food for people in our household, cleaning the house, things we do at work. We're constantly helping people. So taking those small deeds that we already do and making them more powerful is the secret weapon. Right? The little things we do all day aren't really the 4 steps unless we consciously decide that we're doing them towards a certain goal that we have. But we can do that. For instance, if we have a big project and we need to get it done quickly, then we can all day long think about, how can I help someone else get to their goal more quickly? And as Janice said, holding a door open for somebody, or letting someone come in traffic in front of you, just thinking about, what are other people wanting? Where are they trying to go? So the 4 steps, just to repeat them, and they're on our website on the free level 1, which gives you all the foundation tools. The first step is knowing what you want in 1 clear sentence. The second step is finding someone else who wants the same thing and making a plan to help them. So if you're driving in traffic, you can quickly make a plan. Oh, I want to get where I'm going more quickly. I'm going to let this person who seems to be in a hurry get in front of me and go. So that's making the plan. Third step, lost track of my fingers. The third step is to just do it. Let that person pull in front of you. Then you've done the deed. And the 4th step is being happy you did it. And you can do that right then in that moment. Like, yes, I helped someone get where they're going. And you can do it again at night.
That's true.
Coffee meditation.
Yeah. The trick is, there's so many things that we've done all through our lives that help someone. So I like to go back in time and think about what I've done. And for example, yesterday I was in very slow traffic, which was so unusual. I live in the mountains, usually no traffic, but there was a mudslide, which delayed everybody. So I was driving very slow, and I had a lot of opportunity to remember things that I had done to help people in the past. So I didn't have a 4-step plan when I planted those seeds. I planted a seed in the past. So now in this slow traffic, I had an hour to water those seeds. I went back in my timeline and I remembered what I had done. And I just felt such happiness that I was able to help people in the past. And that's like doing a coffee meditation in my car. So I was watering the seeds, and believe it or not, about 2 hours later after I got home, I received a phone call that offered me such great help. It was astounding. So watering the old seeds works. It doesn't matter how old they are. We can still do that. I didn't get burned out, and I got what I wanted.
Oh, great. Instant results.
Yeah, instant results.
Yeah. Let's just go over a little bit about this seed planting thing that we're talking about, in case you're not familiar. Janice already mentioned that everything we do, everything we see ourselves doing, everything we hear ourselves saying, and even the thoughts in our mind, they're making an impression on our mind. Nothing is ever lost. You have like a recorder in there. And then that is what comes out, so that you are labeling the things you see around you as help just came to help, or this employee is not helping me at all. So we have different situations going on in our lives all the time, and we don't all see them the same way. So our past is influencing what we see now. And that's the important point.
It's very important. And it's also important to recognize, sometimes our past is causing us to recognize unpleasant things right now. Maybe we made a mistake. I like to say, I missed the mark. I did something and I'm experiencing an unpleasant result right now. So what do we do about something like that? Well, I was thinking about conventional methods like setting boundaries and using the seed system to set boundaries. Being clear about what we can do and what we can't do. So how would we apply the seed system to setting good boundaries for ourselves and still utilizing this 4-step plan and the seed system?
Great question. And that's really what we wanted to talk about today, because some of us, I'm more like this. I forget to think about other people. I'm selfish. And so the 4 steps help me to remember that there's other people out there who need things. But some people are more in that caregiving mode, right? They're always wanting to care for people. And sometimes so much that maybe it could become codependent and it's not healthy. And that gets really tricky, I think, when you're a seed practitioner and when you're using the 4 steps or the seed system. You could be taken advantage of. You're trying to help people and they're stealing from you. I know people who that's happened to. So the question that Janice poses is, how can we have healthy boundaries and still want to help everybody around us? And how can we use seeds to do that? So I'm sorry, all I did is restate the question. I haven't answered it yet. Well, so being able to set a healthy boundary comes from what we did in the past. So if we're having problems setting boundaries, what would be the cause of that? Maybe not respecting other people's boundaries.
Yeah,
what do you
that's
think?
a good.
That's my first idea.
Yeah, not respecting other people's boundaries, and the other one is not knowing your limits, and then expecting people to see that you're tired and worn out. And, so I think it's really up to us to start recognizing our limits and to set those boundaries. And when people start pushing them, really it's our job to say no. We don't become a doormat when we use the 4 steps. That doesn't help anyone. And that's not going to help us. So we use the 4 steps, like Alex explained, and we help someone else to get what they want. We take action, we do it, we water those seeds, and we get what we want. But we also don't become a doormat. We have to say no sometimes, because if we don't say no, we're not helping people. Because we can really hurt them if we don't say no sometimes. We can, I have had the situation where I have retail stores, and I had someone very close to me who was actually stealing from me. If I allowed that to happen, I was hurting them. So you have to say no and know when to cut someone off, so you don't get in an enabling situation where you're actually causing harm to the other person.
Yeah, and I think the trick is doing it without anger.
Oh, true.
I mean, if we could tell somebody no or cut them off if needed and have their best interest in our minds and in our hearts, I usually just fly off the handle. I let myself get pushed into a corner, and then I come out fighting. So we haven't perfected this. We're just giving some ideas about it. Go ahead.
Well, I did have a situation too, when, like Alex said, I needed to let someone go in a different situation, and I couldn't do it as quickly as I wanted to because I had a little bit of anger and frustration. I had to wait a full week until I felt genuine love in my heart, knowing that that person was so unhappy and this was hurting them. And then I was able to let them go in a really peaceful way, hoping that they found peace, because I was causing their unhappiness. I was part of it. And if I allowed that to stay, I was hurting my boundaries and I was hurting them. So that's what boundaries are about. And that's how the seed system works with them.
Mhm.
We don't want to hurt someone. We want to help them. And sometimes we help them by saying no.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
When we were talking about this topic before we came on live to talk about it with you all, and I think we're recording a podcast too. So hi, if you're out there listening to the podcast later, welcome.
Hey, we look great. I wish you could see us.
I was thinking about how the 4 steps automatically help both kinds of people. The selfish person who forgets to think about others helps somebody else to get what they want. And somebody who tends to want to help other people and forget about themselves and maybe not take good care of themselves needs to start the 4 steps by thinking about what they want. What's going to make them happy and healthy and successful. So you know, if you're going to be a successful 4-step person, you need to be able to have equal rights for yourself and for others. It's not, should I help others or should I help myself? It's both.
It's circular. You cannot get anything without someone else. So it's never selfish, because everything we do is if it plants a seed, you've done it with someone else, good or bad. So we're planting seeds all day long, all the time. So I like to think about that. It's circular. So the 4 steps are a circular pattern. You help someone, it plants the seeds for you to get what you want. So even if you're a selfish person and you're not using the seed system, like I want to help someone because it'll help me. If you do it with the intention of, I want to help myself, and that's why I'm going to help this person, you know, you're going to get it, but you're going to get sort of a selfish result back. But you still get what you want. So if you really think about it, it just completes an action, a full circle. You plant a seed by helping someone else, and you won't get anything if you don't. And we do it all day long.
Yeah, good point. 65 per instant, they say, is how many impressions you make. So while we're making this video, we're making a lot of impressions. 65 per finger snap. And what's our intention?
Our intention is to help people understand how we plant seeds, you know, that everything we think, it causes us to take action, good or bad, that's going to create our future results. But we can utilize this tool to actually plant things for what we do want by using the 4 steps. And if you're not doing the 4 steps, you know, in that moment, you can go back and remember it and then apply the 4 steps to it. You know, in hindsight, many 4 steps. I did that, or I'm going to do something small in the future so that I'll get what I want right now. It's just such a beautiful system because it does help everyone, and it stops competitiveness and it stops burnout.
Yeah. And we have fun doing this. We have fun running our training company. We have fun making these broadcasts for you, hopefully, to share something valuable with you. And I think it's important that when we're helping others, we do have fun. If we get to the point where we're not having fun while we're trying to serve somebody else or take care of somebody else, then it's probably time for a break. Because if you're planting seeds that are infused with anger or unhappiness, you're going to get results that are tainted with anger and unhappiness.
Yeah. And I know I've experienced it. Let's say I've helped someone, but I wasn't very happy about it. For instance, I go to a restaurant and I order food. This happened the other night. This little waitress comes up and she didn't just put this food on the table. She kind of tossed it on the table. It didn't spill off the plate. But, you know, I was with my daughters and we just started laughing, you know, because we knew where it came from, you know, something that we had done. We helped somebody, but we didn't do it with a happy, helpful motivation. And, you know, we were getting the results of this young girl coming in, just, you know, not even putting the food in front of each person. She just shoved it onto the table and then walked away. And she did it twice. And both times we just laughed. We just laughed. And that's the result. When something happens that you don't want to have repeated, it's good to have a good attitude so you don't plan it again.
No,
I'm still laughing about that.
That's a great point. And I just also would like to say that it is important to take care of ourselves in what they call the conventional way, like take naps, read a book, go on a vacation, have a nice meal. Being a seed practitioner doesn't mean that you're not going to do things that are fun for you and your partner and your family. And you know what? When we're taking care of ourselves, we're also taking care of other people.
Yeah, you can only take care of people as much as you take care of yourself. That's just the way it goes. And it's been a lesson for me because I really get myself worn out if I just do what I normally do without thinking about taking care of myself. And we are helping people when we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, because if we plant unkindness seeds towards ourselves, then we're going to get results of seeing other people as being unhappy and unkind
and
too.
Unhealthy.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
unhealthy.
So it's really important that we also take care of ourselves, and that is taking care of other people because we're more available when we're more available to ourselves.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to remind everybody that at seedsoftruesuccess.com, you can take level 1 for free and hear the foundation tools where you'll learn what is this thing they're talking about seeds. How is it possible that everything around us that we observe and our partners and friends are coming from what we did in the past? We have a logical explanation for you, and that's in level 1.
Yeah, and it's free. We mentioned that, but it explains how we plant seeds, how we use the 4 steps. And if you're really attentive and you know that we're doing good things to get good results, you might think that of all those things we did in the past that created bad results that we experienced. And there's a system that we talk about in level 1, 2 called the 4 powers to help us scorch the seeds for the mistakes we've made in the past so we don't get a full bad result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have one more thought about this idea about helping ourselves and helping others. We talked about how it's an upward spiral. When we help others, we get good results, and then we're able to help others more, and it kind of goes around in an upward spiral. I also was thinking about this thing called the rope trick. Do you remember that, Janice, where we expand our idea of who we are? So that when I help Janice, they're going to think we're the kind of partners that are married, but we're just not business partners. Yeah. When I help Janice, I'm actually helping myself because I've expanded my sense of self to include Janice, like a mother does with her baby, like our friend Pau, who's helping with the technology here today, who's our amazing marketing person. She has a young baby now, and that baby is a part of her. And when she's helping the baby, she's helping herself because herself is bigger.
Yeah. And Michelle, who's helping, there's a lot of people who help us. So right now we, I hopefully all the time we'll get there, that we've expanded who, we're helping right now to Michelle, to Pau, to Shanti, and to everyone who's watching and listening. So,
yeah. And it's called the rope trick because it's like a big lasso, like, we live in the West in Colorado, so we see a lot of rodeos, but if you have a big rope and you can expand it out to include more people. And so that's one way also to think about helping others, helping yourself, and do we need to choose between the two?
Yeah. And one of the best ways to help them is to apply the 4 steps yourself. And when people see the results you're getting and they ask you how you're doing it, you can share what you've learned with them, because that's the best way to get what you want. It's just to teach more people about how you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
And expand the rope bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, let's demonstrate coffee meditation. Okay. Are you happy that we did this video?
I'm really happy. I hope I have slow traffic tomorrow so I can review it.
And it's going to be a podcast. Maybe it'll go out there and someone will be curious about the 4 steps who's never heard of them, and they could go learn about it.
Listen to it in their car while they're doing the laundry.
And then their lives will get better. They'll be happier, and the people around them.
Ooh, I'm really excited. It's just like, wow. I like to think of that hurricane in the Gulf, the Gulf of Mexico, just growing and expanding, a peaceful one.
A peaceful hurricane.
A peaceful hurricane, yeah.
I see your analogy. Well, there's also the nuclear explosion, which is another,
but a good one.
a good nuclear, or a virus.
A healthy one.
How come good things don't expand more? We need examples of good things that expand.
I know. Like,
I mean, hurricanes are good. Depends who's looking.
Like, I really like peaches. So, if I plant a peach seed, and then that tree grows, instead of just one peach, I'm going to get a whole bunch of peaches. And it's peach season in Colorado right now. So, I'll go down and I'll buy a box, and there's 50 peaches in a box for one peach that I planted last week.
So what we do now will expand like peaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Peaches and strawberries. They grow on runners.
Well, thanks everybody. And thank you to our tech team for running everything behind the scenes for us. Do you have any last words you want to say?
Yeah. I just want to thank everybody who's on Instagram and on, our
Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah. I see Cheryl Wong is there, and I just want to say hello. And so many other people. Thank you for being here.
Great. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.